the political violence is coming from the left.
There was literally just data that was pulled off the government website that shows that there's more right-wing violence.
Democratic lawmakers were shot. It was done by the right.
It wasn't.
It was done by a Trump supporter.
He left a letter reasoning it, saying that Tim Walz had ordered him to carry a hit out on people.
Guys, this is one thing that you need to learn. You need to make sure to really trust murderers. Tim Walz told me to do it. That means that they're honest.
You still can't point me to an example that is comparable on the right of Charlie Kirk, someone assassinated in cold blood and then gleefully celebrated thereafter.
You fucking made a joke about how George Floyd was murdered, and you're gonna sit here and you're gonna fucking virtue signal about it?
If you disagree with me, you're welcome to change my mind.
Here's the real reason why you're not gonna be able to change Steven Crowder's mind. Steven Crowder is a bully that justifies his own violence. Steven Crowder is the person who is so abusive to his wife that people like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens had to come forward and disavow him. This is a bully who wants to be violent, who's looking to outrage you so that he can go, look, I'm a victim after you have a response. That's what he does. Alright guys, so this looks interesting. Someone sent it in the Discord. It's for a Steven Crowder video. I believe, was Steven Crowder the original debate bro that goes to schools and tries to talk to underprepared young people in debates and college campuses who haven't fully fleshed out all their ideas? Is that Crowder, or is Ben Shapiro the first? I feel like it was Ben, then Crowder, and then Charlie Kirk kind of was like, I guess, just kept doing it, and he was more popular with it. I don't really remember. Well, let's take a look at it, man.
The reason we're here, and I don't think you would argue that this is unnecessary, the assassination in cold blood is an act of terrorism of Charlie Kirk. Is that political violence?
Yeah.
You seem so confident on the Hortmans, but not Charlie Kirk.
I was just thinking about your question.
If that doesn't constitute political violence that could be answered in the affirmative immediately, of course, what would?
Hey YouTube, what you're about to watch is a new segment we call Change My Mind.
A new segment? He's been doing this for like 12 years. What?
Welcome back to Change My Mind.
Cool.
It's been a while.
Didn't he just say it was new?
Hey YouTube, what you're about to watch is a new...
Oh, this is from 2017. It's like a little compilation of, hey guys, we've been doing it longer than Charlie Kirk. That's what the whole thing is.
Welcome
Gotcha.
back
Okay.
to Change My Mind.
Wow.
It's been a while. This is the place where we rationalize, we reason our positions on controversial topics.
Hell yeah.
When I created Change My Mind in 2017, I had one goal in mind, and that
Dunking on the libs.
was to shine a light on the institutions that had failed Americans.
Oh.
Often students propagandized by the educational system, as well as legacy media.
Do you think that I know why people say that? They're like, oh, people have been propagandized because they're left-leaning. Why is it that so many people who go to school turn to the left? It could be because there's a magical propaganda machine. It could also be because right-wing ideas are not particularly intelligent. Not all of them are bad. Like, you know, some of the regular ones, like, hey, let's have lower taxes or something, those are fine. But when you start, you know, creeping farther right, like insane tariff, I mean, right now, I guess the party of tariffs, insane tariffs and other, you know, restrictions, which are usually religious centric, like, oh, you shouldn't be able to get abortions and gay people shouldn't be able to get married and unions are bad. People start going like, oh, those aren't really good ideas, right? So I think that people who become educated in college, they tend to just turn away from some more conservative ideas, which tend to be racism, homophobia, transphobia, you know, like just overly restrictive when it comes to people's, you know, I guess social ability to, you know, express himself socially.
Trump's once again defending comments he made about the white supremacists and neo-Nazis.
There were very fine people on both sides.
The president's statement that both sides are responsible for the violence in Charlottesville.
It was designed to bring genuine dialogue to what had become an impenetrable echo chamber dominated by progressive professors, administrators, student leadership, along with the complicit media and big tech establishment.
It's important to note that the biggest media companies are like Fox News, so it's hard to say that it's like a whole media thing when the largest media outlets are conservative, even online. Let's take the largest online, like, you know, right-wing source of information is Joe Rogan, massive.
Put it simply, the kind of dialogue that evaded all of cable news.
I
know. I know you said that. 150 police officers got hurt.
You said I was being hyperbolic. Let me respond. I'm not. You being a white man as an insult.
That just
a hell of a welcome back.
shows you the ridiculousness of all of this.
And so, nearly a decade later, with billions of plays, countless discussions, inspired student iterations, one meme of the year, and yes, even a few changed minds later,
I somewhat changed your mind.
Change My Mind had grown far bigger than I ever initially anticipated. And with that came push.
And then he beat it. Then he abused his wife, and he had to take a break for a while. You guys remember that? You guys remember when he abused his wife so bad that like conservatives like Candace Owens and Ben Shapiro had to come out and be like, "Hey, this guy's a bad person."
Fact. Controversy, increasing hostility, and yes, straight up violence.
You piece of living garbage ass dumpster fire.
It got to the point where security became a serious issue.
It's interesting that the guy that makes like was like one of Crowder's like biggest defining moments was when he decided to mock George Floyd's death, and he's like, "Why are people so violent as I mock somebody being murdered?" Like, hey, what the fuck is up with that? Isn't that crazy?
And so I pulled back.
I mean, their violence isn't justified, but it's like you're literally going on the internet mocking people being murdered. And then you're like, why is everybody so violent towards me? Oh, I don't know, Stephen. I wonder why.
Now, given recent events, however, I felt led, compelled even, to bring it back. Voices like ours.
I heard that like right after Charlie Kirk died, the first thing that Steven Crowder did was he was like, "Oh, we're the #1 like political kind of like news podcast now." You know, because after Kirk lost, I've it's not fucked up.
And I mean ours, can't be silenced. And I say this to you watching on the left. Made me do this. I didn't necessarily want to, and everyone told me that this, in today's climate, could not be done unless I took unbelievable precautions, unless it was absolutely kept a secret until mere hours before the event as a pop-up, unless I literally brought an army with me and bulletproofed the entire radius, which is exactly what we did. And so today, for the first time in many years, Change My Mind returns, and back to one of the places where it all began, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas.
All right.
Today's subject is plain and simple. The left is violent.
All right. I mean, I guess some of them people on the left some of the people on the left are. Like, you could say the same thing about the right. There's some people on the left and some people on the right that are violent. But okay.
Will anybody be able to change my mind?
Thank you, Christina,
Sorry,
for sitting
tell
down.
me your name one more time.
Stephen.
Yes, okay.
So I'll take that. I mean, you're not maybe super familiar with what we do with this series. Let me just kind of clarify what it is. First, I'll tell you what it's not. It's not gotcha. It's not clickbait. This is not meant to be, or it won't be used to clip into some kind of a dunk or something to just foment people espousing the same rhetoric on one side. It will be uploaded contextually in its entirety.
That part is true. What you should understand, though, is that while it is uploaded in its entirety, they're obviously going to clip it, and sometimes like that is a strategy. Let's realistically speaking, from Charlie Kirk, his strategy was to have debates and then to clip them sometimes out of context of his like most dunkable moments and then put those on social media. The majority of the stuff that you're going to see is going to be clips of people, rather than their full conversations. So,
where hopefully we have a productive discussion,
Yes.
we rationalize our positions, reason them on controversial topics. Before I get to the premise of today, could you do me a favor just so we can find some common ground?
Yeah.
This is what's being cited right now quite a bit. Just the definition of political violence. I want to make sure we both agree on it.
okay.
Political violence are criminal complaints, indictments, and court records looking for crimes that seek a socio-political change or to communicate to outside audience.
Is that what political violence is? Is radical left violence really on the rise? Distinguishing madmen and militants is never simple, but the prosecution project led by Michael, some last name of University of Cincinnati, analyzes felony criminal cases involving political violence to see which ideologies are more common. The project examines criminal complaints indictments and court records looking for crimes that seek a socio-political change or to communicate to outside audiences. The data shows that the extremists on both left and right commit violence, although more incidents appear to come from the right-leaning attackers. The figures do not, however, capture the severity of the crime, nor the death toll. Okay, in 2001, for instance, there was more cases of right-wing violence than attacks by Islamists, which are extreme, Islamic people, like extreme religious Islamic people, even though the September 11th attacks by Al-Qaeda killed almost 3,000 people that year. Okay, gotcha. Not for nothing, but I would say, to be real, Islamists, radical Muslims, are right-wing. Just to be clear. Just want to be clear about that. Those are conservative values, people. They're not on the left. I don't know what to tell you, but okay.
And I'll summarize it. That's the technical description from the source cited.
Yeah.
It's
well, that wasn't the technical okay, sure, fine.
Violence as a tool being used toward a political end. In other words, just because you vote Democrat or because you vote Republican, if you accidentally hit someone with your car and commit manslaughter, that's not political violence. Sure. If you vote Democrat,
what if you do it on purpose, like that one right winger did at the it was at a rally. I think it was at the the rally where they were trying to keep that statue of that racist fuck. Was it the Robert E. Lee statue? Am I saying the right thing? That would be political violence.
But let's say you go out and run someone over because of their politics, that would be political violence. Should we agree on that?
I think I can agree with you on that.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So the premise today is that particularly today in 2025, by and large, the political violence is coming from the left. It's not proportionate with that on the right.
What? In literally in 2025? What?
That's the reason for the security that you see today. That's very necessary.
I mean, there was literally just data that was pulled off. I'm pretty sure the government website, because Trump doesn't want to acknowledge it, that shows that there's more right-wing violence. If you're talking about literally this year, I mean, maybe you have an argument, but I mean, you can't take it as like, okay, in the past 3 months, it's been worse on the left. Oh, maybe. But like, we're kind of taking this as a collective over the past several years now.
And it's a problem that's reaching a boiling point that may not be sustainable.
Okay.
If you disagree with me, you're welcome to change my mind.
I don't know if I can change your mind, because here's the thing. When I see the sign that says the left is violent, and you talked about how it's not proportional.
Well, here's the real reason why you're not going to be able to change Steven Crowder's mind, okay? And it's because Steven Crowder is Steven Crowder is a bully that justifies his own violence while looking at other people and saying they're the reason I'm violent. Steven Crowder is the person who is so abusive to his wife that people like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens had to come forward and disavow him because of how horribly he treats his wife. If you ask somebody like me, like, hey, what do you think is going on with all the political violence? You can look at the data and it says there's more right-wing violence. I don't think it has anything to do with you being conservative. I think it has a lot to do with online radicalization pathways. On the right, like for the right, it starts with like edgy memes. I'd say most people kind of like stay there, at least for young people. But then you can go like really far right to like conspiracy theory, crazy shit. On the left, it starts with gay and cringe, and then it goes more gay and cringe, right? So one of those is more dangerous, and also more masculine leaning people, more higher testosterone leaning people. We know testosterone is can produce some anger for a lot of people. Those are the types of people that are going to operate towards the right, and so you're going to see more violence from the right. I don't think it's all right-wingers. I think it's people online getting radicalized. But Steven Crowder is a bully that abuses his wife and has a victim complex. And so when he or people that he identifies as on his side commit violence, he justifies it, saying, no, this is okay because blah, 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 blah. But when he looks at left-wing violence, he goes like, no. See, that's what justifies me doing whatever I want. That's the kind of person that he is. He's a bad person. He's the kind of guy that like mocks people like George Floyd when they die. You don't have to think George Floyd's a particularly good person, but like when you're making jokes about it, kneeling on his neck, like this is a bully who wants to be violent, who's looking to outrage you so that he can go, look, I'm a victim after you have a response. That's what he does, right? And if you're Crowder or you're somebody like Crowder, though, don't get mad when somebody makes like an Ultra Instinct Goku meme saying, I could have dodged that bullet, whoosh, as it shimmers. All right, so that's really what it comes down to.
And I would love to see your statistics about that, because we could make the same statement about the right very easily, right? Like we could say that was it just a month or two ago that the Democratic lawmakers were shot, and that was like, all right. I think our bigger problem is that the
Talk about the Hortmans in Minnesota, right?
Yeah, Melissa Hortman.
Right, yeah, because she was a senator and her husband was also killed, and like,
I think it was more than just her too. So
that was done by the right, whatever. But
it wasn't. But continue.
It was done by a Trump supporter. Yes, it was.
Oh, that wasn't a
no.
It wasn't a conservative or.
Yes, it was a conservative who killed Melissa Hortman. He's just lying right now. Or he's just going to be like, well, they didn't technically say it was political violence. It was quite literally, he carried out, I'm reading this is the literal.gov website. He carried out targeted political assassinations, the like of which have never been seen in Minnesota. Like, this is a political assassination.
No, that's why I used the example that I did. The person, Vance Bolter, who committed it, specifically said it had nothing to do with politics.
Oh, he got us. Sorry, the .gov website, literally, the United States Attorney's Office website, them saying it was a targeted political assassination. That's not credible. But when the guy says, I didn't do this because of politics, I just stalked Democrats, murdered a wife, a kid, or excuse me, a wife, a husband, and then tried to murder a kid. But he says it wasn't political, so we believe him. We're only 6 minutes into this video. Steven Crowder's already playing debate bro bullshit. He's not here to be like, let's have a legitimate conversation about like actual extremist violence that's going on. That's terrible. That's horrible. That's most likely really caused by internet extremism more than a political affiliation. He's like, I'm here because Charlie Kirk died. I was jealous of him. I want to capitalize on it because despite the fact that I started doing the Change My Mind segments and debating college kids, Charlie Kirk did it better because he's just a better speaker. And I want to come here and I want to take advantage of this death gleefully to sit here and play some debate bro bullshit that separates the country even more. That's literally all Crowder's here to do. And this is proof right off the bat. The guy's a disgusting fuck.
And he left a letter reasoning it, saying that Tim Walz had ordered him to carry a hit out on people.
This guy's insane. This guy's insane. Yeah, there's a lot of credibility to this. So I just want you guys to realize something. There's a 0% chance Tim Walz actually said this. This guy was fucking crazy. Crowder knows that. Crowder knows that this guy was targeting Democrats because he knows that the politics of this guy were left-wing, or excuse me, were right-wing. But he wants to focus on the ramblings of an insane person to be like, well, yeah, I know that he was a Trump supporter. I know that he hated Democrats. He was killing Democrats. He actually killed Democrats. But he left a message saying it was Tim Walz's fault, and Tim Walz told him to do it. So I guess it's not political violence. What? Okay.
So he was very clear that it wasn't in the name of politics. That's someone who happened to be, on some issues, Republican, on some issues, Democrat. And he was
a Republican.
Appointed.
He was a Republican.
By a Tim Walz administration. So.
Just to be clear, Vance Bowler was an outspoken evangelical Christian. That's right wing. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what he's getting on about how they were appointed by a left wing administration. What does that even mean? Bowler was a conservative who was strongly against abortion rights. A longtime friend told CNN on Saturday, but Bowler never mentioned any particular anger with the lawmakers who were shot. Okay, so Tim Walz appointed Vance Bowler to the Governor's Workforce Development Board in 2019. Oh, okay. So Tim Walz, dude, this guy's such a slimy little fuck. This guy's a fucking creep. He's trying to insinuate that because he was appointed. What? He's trying to make it seem like he was left leaning. Dude, this is Debate Bro Central. This guy's a fucking freak. There's no political connection here whatsoever. He was just appointed to the Workforce Development Board, which is an unpaid external board created by the legislature with over 60 members from various backgrounds. The governor's office appoints thousands of people on boards and commissions. Tim Walz didn't select him specifically. He's trying to make it seem like this guy was like more moderate. He wasn't. He was an evangelical Christian. This guy is a debate freak.
So that was not done in the name of political violence.
Holy shit, he's a disgusting freak.
He said Tim Walz ordered him to assassinate somebody who was out of his mind.
Okay, what a freak. Oh my God.
But I'd like you to continue with the example.
Sure.
This is how, by the way, this is how Steven Crowder gets people. He comes in and he's extraordinarily bad faith debate, bro. He comes in, he's more prepared for this conversation. He's ready to guide you through a specific pathway of information. And if you start looking it up on your phone, he fucking gets pissed off at you. Nothing he's saying is honest or accurate.
Sure, and let's say, okay, so he wasn't right. That's fine.
And now she's a reasonable person. So she's like, oh, okay, well, you said these things, so you must be honest.
No, it wasn't political violence.
It was political violence.
It didn't count as political violence.
Based on the definition you agreed to, right?
See, he's pushing her through a pathway.
Yeah. And I think a lot of it too is there's so many things happening. It's actually really hard to get all the facts about everything.
Sure.
And our media is when they make these statements or they start to postulate about an event, and it will become political before we've even fully fleshed everything out.
That part is true. That will happen sometimes. For instance, the second that Charlie Kirk was assassinated, they were like, "Oh no, it's definitely left wingers that were doing it." Oh, and then you kind of like look a little bit more into it. His entire family's MAGA. He seemed to be a Nick Fuentes supporter. It's still disgusting. I don't think it needs to matter. I think that we should figure out what it is exactly. But like they're just jumping on it. They're just like, oh, no, like before all the information has come out, they're like, oh, nope, he's definitely fucking, definitely MAGA. Oh, he might have been trans. Oh, his girlfriend was trans. Oh, he once looked at a trans cock. That's the information, And I'm not saying that people on the left don't do that as well, but that seems to be the case here of what's going on. There's always a jump to like, oh, this person did it.
Like.
Could you give me an example?
Well, like the shooting that happened at the church yesterday. I haven't seen enough. I don't know. Have you seen any media on it yet? I'm curious to know what the media is saying
quite a bit
about it. And I want to know if there.
Well, again, it was a Trump supporter who went into a church and shot people. That's my understanding about the church shooting.
How are they characterizing it?
Yeah, the media isn't characterizing, I will say this, even on the left and the right, they're not really characterizing that as political violence.
Okay.
Yeah, he was just so fucking crazy that gets radicalized online.
Because it was a guy who really seemed to harbor ill will toward the Mormon church. So it's pretty...
Well, terrible to kill people. Don't never do that, but, churches can sometimes not be great, so...
Hard to categorize it as political violence when the targets were...
For instance, there's an evangelical Christian who politically assassinated 2 Democrats in their home. It's one of those things, like religious extremism is a huge cause for concern and like a huge cause for issues that are going on. Those are the people that are, what is it, the evangelical, like the church that like protest like veterans being killed. Like they're like, oh, it's a good thing. What church is that called? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. It's fucking crazy. On I think these religious extremists are a fucking huge problem.
We're largely conservative, and the man who carried out the action seems like he might be a Republican. But I think we could pick a more clear example, a multitude of them. The reason we're here, and I don't think you would argue that this is unnecessary, the assassination in cold blood is an act of terrorism of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Westboro Baptist Church, yes, thank you.
Is that political violence?
For sure, absolutely.
You seem so confident on the Hortmans, but not Charlie Kirk.
Well, you lied about the Hortmans, so maybe that's what it is.
I was just thinking about your question. Probably because he was like Turning Point USA is a conservative organization, right? That's meant to try and rally young conservatives and be involved. And so, I would probably agree that his death was political, or his murder, assassination.
Well, she feels like she needs to pause and think for a second. Because he shattered what she thought about the Hortman thing because he lied to her about it. So she's like, oh shit, she's a little less confident in her perspective, despite the fact that she's obviously more right than him and has, he's just lying like a piece of shit.
Was politically violent, but I guess I just have a hard time reconciling that with, we can say that the senator and her husband being killed wasn't political, but
I'll tell you exactly why.
He's ready for this question, despite the fact that he's lying.
I'll tell you exactly why. Because the express motive of the terrorist who assassinated Charlie Kirk was politics.
Apparently, you have to make sure that, guys, this is one thing that you need to learn. This is a Steven Crowderism. You need to make sure to really trust murderers. Like, the people who murder people are some of the most honest people in the world, according to Charlie Kirk. So if they tell you something, that is the truth. If they go on and murder a bunch of Democrats and they're like, but Tim Walz told me to do it, I was elected to, that means that they're honest. Those are the honest people. So make sure that you understand that moving forward, that Steven Crowder thinks that murderers are very honest people.
Killed him because he said he's one of those hateful conservative right-wingers.
Yeah, it's terrible. He never should have been killed. But yeah, Charlie Kirk was a hateful right-winger. But he did not deserve to be assassinated.
The rhetoric that he espoused, the reason that he killed Charlie Kirk.
No way you think that guy was on the right. That's crazy. Who are you saying? What?
Was to take out someone of his political persuasion and make others of his political persuasion afraid to express their opinions. The man who assassinated, which I roundly condemn, Vance Bolter, the Hortmans, did not do it as a means to a political end. Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He is not an elected official solely because of his political perspective as a method to instill terror.
He's, just to be clear, the guy stalked Melissa Hortman and her husband for like weeks until it happened.
In the populace.
Yeah.
How do I know? Because a person said it was political violence.
Okay. What if we just don't even have enough information, though? Like, what if it is politically motivated and we just don't have enough to know about it yet?
And
we do know that it's politically motivated. That's literally it. Charlie Kirk, this guy, Crowder's lying.
Yes, we do.
You know, well, not in this particular instance, but I just mean like with the Hortmans you mentioned.
Okay, well, let's separate the gray area.
Okay.
Right, that's why I kind of start with the example. Just because you, I would assume, let's say, vote Democrat or Republican, just because you commit a crime doesn't make it political violence.
He stalked and murdered Democratic elected officials. What are you talking about? Okay.
I mean, if we did that, we'd have 90% of the crime being committed on behalf of the Democrat Party because most people in inner cities vote Democrat. I don't consider that to be political violence. People have political beliefs, and people commit violence. Sometimes they rob a store because they want money. People who commit political violence do so specifically to instill fear in political opposition. They specifically commit violence as a means to a political end.
Okay.
And when we categorize it that way, it's overwhelmingly coming from the left.
It's not. Just to be clear, statistically, it's coming from the right. I don't think the conversation is productive the way he's even having it, but it is statistically coming from the right. So.
We do have the sources here that we make this available, so you can take the QR code. So what would make you, because you seem very confident that the Hortmans was political violence.
I guess we'll look at the QR code. So when you look at it, it's mostly a collection of different people that were murdered by people on the left that dates back to 2019. Okay. So, I mean, it's just weird because at the beginning he was trying to make it seem like we're talking about today, not 6 years ago, but okay, gotcha.
Violence. And then it's nuanced with Charlie Kirk. Why?
Oh, I didn't say it was
political violence. So what would make you, because you seem very confident that the Hortmans was political violence, and then it's nuanced with Charlie Kirk.
Well, the Hortmans was political violence.
Why?
Oh, I didn't say it was nuanced at all with Charlie Kirk. I agreed with you after considering your question that it was a political.
If that doesn't constitute political violence that could be answered in the affirmative immediately, of course, what would? Like, what would be required to say, oh, this is clearly an act of political violence or political terrorism, if not Charlie Kirk?
I agreed that it was political violence, so I'm not sure where this question's coming from.
Well, I'm saying because you came in and pointed.
Because she, what happened was she brought up Melissa Hortman. Crowder confidently lied about it, so it made her question the way that she thought. So when he brought up Charlie Kirk, she got a little confused. That's literally what happened. And now he's just going to continuously baby voice her while pretending that he's like being a really nice, nuanced guy and just like batter her. Oh, well, how come it took you a second to answer the Charlie Kirk thing? Oh, well, how about... That's what he's doing right now.
Into an example that would be in the gray area, the Hortmans, and took a long time to agree with that premise of Charlie Kirk. And so what if we don't know enough information? So Charlie Kirk would be very clear left-wing political violence.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Great.
Yes.
So there are more examples of that coming from the left than the right. That's the
right.
premise, yes.
Okay. So you're saying clear examples of political violence. I
Yes.
hear you using clear
violence
examples.
carried out as a means to a political end.
So there's clear information, data that shows us that the left is violent or is more violent than the right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we have this beautiful statistic here. Ideology of political murders. since I believe this is 1975. They excluded 9/11 because it was they considered an outlier, which I don't know if I agree with that, but that's fine. And as you can see here, the right has 391 instances. The Islamist is a radical, Islamic people. 143. The left is 65. Then you have foreign, nationalism, separatism, etc. A lot of people will say this statistic is out of context. It's not good. There's actually more instances of left-wing violence. They should, add 9/11 to the Islamist aspect of it, which again is radical Islam violence, not just all Islamic people. I agree the statistics out of context. It should look like put Islamists with the right because that's right-wing violence. I want people to understand that. I know that just because conservatives hate Muslim people magically means that it's not conservative, but like Islamists, radical right-wing religious extremists are right-wing. Religious extremism is conservative. In fact, right-wingers have more in common with fucking Islamists than they do with people on the left. All right, they're all about marriage. Their age of consents are not particularly high. It's once they look mature enough. They hate gay people. They hate trans people. They want more authoritarianism. So that's how that's out of context. But it doesn't really matter. Like, again, like it's not even like necessary to. It's just such an unproductive conversation. Who's doing it more? I think it's online radical pipelines. But like it's unproductive. We just need to lower the temperature and like move forward. But now we get locked into this conversation of like who's worse, who's better, who's it. I don't think that's the productive conversation. I think the conversation is like, hey, like something's really fucked up is going on here. I think it's people online getting radicalized by like fucking online shit. We need to have a conversation about that. But no, we don't do that. We just sit down and we do performative debate tactics and we try to steamroll people while lying actively the whole time.
Not only in crime statistics, but also in the polling after Charlie Kirk's death. Now, I believe that you're discussing this. So in the polling after Charlie, yes, not only in crime statistics, but also in the polling after Charlie Kirk's death.
So when he says crime statistics, what he's saying, and he alluded to this before, is that if a violence happens in a Democrat city, it is going to mean that it's Democrat violence. This is something that you guys need to really keep in mind. Charlie Kirk, he's such a disingenuous fuck. The entire time in this conversation, he's saying, we're talking about explicit political violence. That's fair. Now he's referencing, and he's not saying it explicitly, but he's referencing just crimes that happen in like left-wing cities, which tends to happen at a higher rate because left-wing cities tend to be more left-leaning. Tends to be more higher population and population-dense cities because they're more economically profitable and robust, right? So, okay.
Now, I believe that you're discussing this in good faith, and I would assume that you roundly condemn.
She isn't. I mean, excuse me, he isn't.
Political violence of all stripes.
Of course.
So do I. Just to be clear, I think we both are. That's why we're.
I don't think that you dislike political violence. I think that you're happy that you finally get to do these again, and you're popular.
Sitting at a table having a conversation.
Right.
Do you identify as more liberal or conservative?
For sure.
I like to think I'm moderate because I hold some conservative views and some liberal.
I'm more left-leaning. I'm sure I have some views that would be considered more right-leaning views, but I'm more, obviously, more fucking progressive.
Views,
okay.
And I wish we could have a little bit more moderation in our country.
Like sitting down and having discussions?
Exactly.
Okay.
Like things like that.
Like dishonest discussions from a fucking freak like Charlie Kirk. Steven Crowder, dude.
Because we get killed for it anyway.
Right.
Yeah. Only the right.
What are you talking about? What the fuck is he saying? Melissa Hortman was... Oh, right. He doesn't believe that actually happened.
Only the right gets killed for this anyway. You're seeing the one that got through. Okay. The reason I stopped doing this for years is because
because nobody wanted to watch you do it anymore. And because you fucking abused the shit out of your fucking wife. So people didn't want to watch you anymore. That's the reason why that happened. You were abusing your wife and you were tired of getting trolled for it when you would show up to these things. He's acting like, I stopped doing this because you abused your wife and conservatives hated you and they disavowed you. That's why this happened, because you are a wife abuser. You verbally abuse your wife. That's what it is. I had to stop this because of all the violence that was going on. By the way, I love mocking people. I pretend to kill people. I'm kneeling on someone's neck. Haha, this is so funny to me. What are you talking about, dude? I stopped because of all the political violence. You stopped because people fucking disavowed you. That's why.
Every single time out was a violent attack. Sometimes it was a rock. Sometimes it was a milkshake. Could be concrete, acid, chocolate, vanilla. I don't know. Doxing, fire bombings, Molotov cocktails. Maya Angelou spoke at SMU only a few years before my first time here. Didn't need this kind of security. And you can see it if you observe your speakers here. And I'll tell you why that is.
It's probably so. The real reason why is because you're a hateful person, so people don't like you. It doesn't mean that you deserve to be attacked, but that's what it is. You mock people's deaths and you say insane fucking shit, and then you lie when you have conversations.
If you look at the polls post-assassination of Charlie Kirk, and you label yourself as a moderate,
polls within the last like a couple of months,
those who identify as liberal support political violence at a ratio of 6 to 1.
What? Where is he getting this specific information from?
To conservatives. The YouGov poll said, is political violence acceptable? 77% of conservatives said not at all. Only 38% of those on the left said not at all.
I don't think he's looking at the data right away. What is his claim again?
Political violence acceptable. 77% of conservatives said not at all.
I guess he's referring to this. Most Americans across the political spectrum say political violence is never justified, but younger and more liberal Americans are more likely to disagree. So if you look at like younger conservatives, it's 75% say that it's never acceptable. Younger liberals are 54%. I guess younger moderates are 62%. Obviously, as you get older, those numbers skew higher. Did he not say 6 to 1 though?
Political violence at a ratio of 6 to 1 to conservatives.
What is he talking about? 6 to 1?
Is liberal. Support political violence at a
what?
As a moderate. Those who identify as liberal support political violence at a ratio of 6 to 1 to conservatives.
That's not even true.
The YouGov poll said, is political violence acceptable?
Okay, so he's referring to this. Most Americans across the political spectrum say political violence is never justified. I mean, I'm assuming that you're talking about this.
77% of conservatives said not at all.
77%? That's not even here. The 77% is not even here. Unless he's referencing something up here more. Is he referencing this? This is not the statistic either. Where's the 70? There's no 77%. The only 70s, there's no 77%, I think, even on this page. The only 77% here is YouGov's polling shows that Americans overall are far more likely to say it's always or usually unacceptable to be happy about the death of a public figure than they are to say this is acceptable. So 77% of people overall, that's the only 77% that's referenced in this article. Does he not know how to read statistics? I don't think he knows how to read statistics. I think he's stupid. He's a fucking idiot. I'm pretty sure he's just fucking dumb, no? Or
the ratio of 6 to 1 to conservatives. The YouGov poll said, is political violence acceptable? 77% of conservatives said not at all.
That's not even true. It's 77% of all people. He doesn't know how to read the study he's referencing.
Only 38% of those on the left said not at all.
38%. There's not even a 38% statistic on the page that he's referencing. These things are classified into different things. Most Americans say it's unacceptable to be happy about it. We're not really talking about happiness, but conservatives tend to trend higher on thinking it's inappropriate to be happy about a death. And this is post Charlie Kirk, right? So that part's true, especially young liberals. This says most Americans across the political spectrum say political violence is never justified. So this is explicitly referring to the political violence here, right? There's no 38% anywhere on the page. What the fuck is he talking about? There's not even the numbers 38 aren't even here. He's just making things up. To sit here and say that after Charlie Kirk's death, more progressives think political violence is more acceptable than conservatives, that's true. Like, that's fine. But he's not saying that. He says 6 to 1, and he's making up numbers. He's just saying numbers. Liberals and younger Americans are more likely to say political violence can be justified, but are more likely to defend violence in self-defense. Okay. Steven Crowder's just making things up. More Americans say protecting the Second Amendment right. Okay, this is the Second Amendment. Liberals and conservatives are likely to say violence from the other side is a bigger problem. People on the right are more likely to say that. He can't even read statistics the right way. He's a fucking idiot. He can't even read the thing that he's referencing. He's so dumb.
62% of those on the left said somewhat to completely acceptable. We see the same stats after the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. We see the same stats after the fire bombings of the Tesla dealership.
I don't think the fire bombings are comparable, and I can't trust what he has to say because he can't even interpret these things correctly. What the fuck?
And we see the same stats on the opposite side, those on the right roundly condemning political violence. The lowest you'll find is
Just to be clear, the right doesn't condemn political violence. I don't really care about what this statistic says. When you talk about, when Donald Trump is on mocking Nancy Pelosi's husband getting beaten with a hammer, Donald Trump is the most powerful figure in the entire world. He loves political violence. He constantly stokes it. At Charlie Kirk's funeral, he said he hates his opponents. Like, just to be clear, I don't know what to tell you. And statistically, as much as people on the left say it might be justified, statistically, people on the right are doing it more.
72, you usually find it in the high 80s. You will not find a number that breaks half on the left.
Okay, you mentioned
all these numbers. Pretty much every number is breaking half, just to be clear. This is the justified one. Liberals, the lowest is 54% that say it's violence is never justified. And there's some that don't want to say anything, some are not sure. 26% say that yes, it can sometimes be justified. So like he's just saying words at this point. He's just talking. He's just saying things.
Mentioned Donald Trump. Can we jump to that for just a minute?
Donald Trump, sure. I assumed we would.
Well, because I thought that guy was a registered Republican, and then he donated the guy who attempted to assassinate Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I'm really terrible at names.
He was a registered Republican.
Crooks.
Yeah, that he was a registered Republican. So would you consider him a act of violence on the left or on the right?
I would consider the attempted assassination of a presidential nominee political violence, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's from the right. So like, how do you parse through that?
I don't know if you know this. There are a lot of people on the right who don't like Donald Trump.
Yes, I know a few of them. Yeah.
Political violence isn't just Republican, Democrat. That's why I say left versus right.
Okay.
Those on the right are more routinely targets, and it's very blatant.
Yeah, okay. I'm confused. A conservative kills another conservative. That's political violence, but you count that towards left-wing political violence. Okay.
People can say he was a registered Republican. That doesn't change the fact that it was an act of political violence carried out against Donald Trump, who's a conservative.
Yeah. Conservative on conservative violence. You know, you guys downplay black on black crime, so this downplay conservative on conservative crime. I don't understand. Yeah.
Yes.
Republican, whatever term you want to use.
Well, I guess, but if the argument is the left is violent, and I'm just thinking about this guy's, political background from the person. I hear what you're saying, that the right is targeted more often.
Yeah, we're the victims of political violence.
More often, and
much more.
So
the victims and the causers of political violence, so higher degree, no?
Would you classify that specific incident as violence of the right or of the left?
Well, the target is the right. The target was Donald Trump. So the net result is the same. We are often the targets of violence.
Yeah, but the left,
including someone who may be a moderate Republican. Yeah, the left is.
Yeah, but like this has nothing. What she's getting at, and she's making a good point, is your prompt is the left is violent. Change my mind, and now you're like, well, how do we classify Donald Trump's killing or Donald Trump's assassination attempt? Oh, well, conservatives are more victims of this. Okay, but your prompt is about your prompt is about liberals being more violent. So it doesn't make any sense.
Still overwhelmingly violent. And I point to those polls that you can peruse from YouGov, from Reuters, not bastions of conservatism, along with the rhetoric since then. Here's the one thing.
The YouGov stat that he misinterpreted.
You can't point me to. And we can go through the stats. And I know you probably heard from those on the left that actually there's more right-wing political violence. They're often circulating that right now.
He means government webs. Like he means like actual, like accredited, data. Credible data is saying that.
I can disabuse you of that notion.
Sure, let's hear your
relatively
argument.
quickly. I think we'd find common ground there.
Let's hear your argument.
You still can't point me to an example that is comparable on the right of Charlie Kirk, someone who was not an elected official.
So he's okay. So he's just going to agree with the statistic and they'll be like, yeah, but this one was worse.
A public figure who was really notable for nothing more than expressing his opinion and having conversations.
If you say so, he was a pretty hateful guy as well. He doesn't deserve to be assassinated, but he wasn't a particularly good person. He was pretty racist. He said some horrible things about black people, never should have gotten civil rights, because he thinks DEI has gone too far, even though Trump literally pulled like all DEI shit anyway, so it seems like it worked. He won't acknowledge that we ever needed it in the first place. He said Martin Luther King was a bad person for whatever reason. Every time he sees a black pilot or he questions if they're qualified. I mean, he said he would say he was abuse his daughter by forcing her to give birth to a rapist's baby. He didn't like gay people. He didn't think they should get married, which is horrible, shitty language, by the way. We need to stop pretending that saying it in a nice baby voice. Oh, I don't think gay people should be able to get married. Oh, that's just my belief. That's hateful, shitty speech. Just because you say it in a baby voice doesn't mean it's not. Okay, if I asked you, what would you rather be called? A slur, which is hateful language, or being told that you can't marry a consensual adult that you love, you'd say, well, which one is worse, being called a slur or having your rights taken away to marry who you love, to whatever consensual adult you love? You'd probably say that not being able to marry who you want, as long as they were a consensual adult, that's a bigger problem, right? So we know that this is hateful speech, but you say it in a nice way. Like, but he wasn't a particularly good person. He didn't just go around and say things. He was a hateful person, and like, unfortunately, he was assassinated. It never should have happened, but like, he capitalized on political violence. He justified January 6th. He justified, like, he was friendly with Alex Jones and had him on his podcast, a guy who got famous for downplaying and denying the massacre of Sandy Hook children and then sending harassment to their family. He wasn't a particularly good person. To stop whitewashing him. It's very strange behavior.
Who was assassinated in cold blood and then gleefully celebrated thereafter.
Yeah, some people online did that. Dude, you fucking sat here and made a joke about how George Floyd was murdered, and you're gonna sit here and you're gonna fucking virtue signal about it? It was the people were making memes. People were making memes about Charlie Kirk being killed by George Droid. I've seen the memes, okay? Oh, isn't that terrible? You guys, like, listen, not for nothing, you guys can't sit here and like mock the death of George Floyd and then pretend that like you're upset that fucking little kids on the internet are making memes about Charlie Kirk. You might be like, well, Charlie Kirk was a better person. Okay, maybe. I don't know. To me, Charlie Kirk is literally the right's George Floyd right now. We're talking about, in both instances, two people who did not deserve to die. Neither were particularly good people for the reasons that I mentioned before, and they're trying to start riots over it. To call out something. For George Floyd, it was police accountability and the lack thereof, which is something that's a huge problem. On the left, it's political violence that Donald Trump is orchestrating more than anybody else. Let's be absolutely real. When he's sitting here mocking people getting hit with hammers and saying at Charlie Kirk's literal memorial how he hates people, he hates his opponents, I'm pretty sure he's the number one biggest inciter of political violence ever. So it's a little strange. But like, that's just a reality of the situation. Okay.
And I hope that
they just think that George Floyd OD'd. They don't care because they want to guzzle cop cum. That's all it is. Cops can do no wrong to conservatives, except for on January 6th. Then cops can be wrong because the cops targeted them. And it's like, wait a minute. Maybe the police aren't all good. Oh, shit.
As someone who's moderate, you understand why that's so concerning to us on the right. When we host vigils and memorials, and the left is so completely fearless of their own consequences that they kill one of ours and show.
They? Who's they? What are you talking about? They? What are you? The left? They killed one of ours.
Go up to the memorials and vigils and desecrate and vandalize. That is the information that creates the powder keg.
Yeah, I think it's pretty crazy how there was a memorial that we did a half mass for Charlie Kirk. That was fucking crazy to me. Nobody should be desecrating the memorials, but I mean, Charlie Kirk was not somebody that should be celebrated by the government, by government institutions. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
The only off ramp would have been, hey, we kept saying that people like Charlie Kirk. By the way, he was much more moderate than I am.
That's doubtful. Yeah, the right gets pissed all the time when you post Charlie Kirk quotes. That doesn't sound right. Charlie Kirk quotes. Shit.
I am Genghis Khan or Attila the Hun compared to Charlie Kirk, but
why? You know what it is? Because Charlie Kirk didn't actually abuse his wife. I think that's what he means when he says that he's Charlie Kirk was more moderate. It's because Charlie Kirk didn't abuse his wife like Steven Crowder did. Steven Crowder abused his wife. Charlie Kirk actually didn't abuse his wife. Charlie Kirk said he would abuse his daughter by forcing her to give birth to a rapist baby, but he did not. That's just a thought crime, right? So this one though is an actual real thing. He actually did that.
We'll have conversations with anyone. I just want to be very clear. So I know that plenty of people would gleefully celebrate my death, my murder, for doing this exact same thing. The only off-ramp would have been the left saying, look, We've called Donald Trump and his voters and Charlie Kirk and Steven Crowder and whoever on the right, Tucker Carlson, take your pick, Sargon of Akkad, everyone. Ben Shapiro, we've called them fascists. We've called them Nazis. We've said that they want to
Donald Trump called people fascists and Nazis. What?
Committed genocide because they don't want to transition children. We've called them racist.
What are you talking about? Genocide transitioning children? What?
Because they support the police in an era of defund the police. Okay. And my God, people out there actually believe it.
Okay.
It's incumbent upon us to tone this down.
Bro, you fucking you had somebody kneel on your neck as a joke after fucking George Floyd was killed. What are you talking? This guy, all of a sudden, we got the virtue trolling. Oh, I was actually really nice. We're just like really nice people. What happened to jokes? I can't do that.
And say, you know what? They're not fascist. We made these people believe that this guy would never relinquish the reins of power. How do you deal with fascists?
I mean, Donald Trump is already teasing a third term. He's the FCC chair is threatening people like Jimmy Kimmel. He's pulling down statues. He's pulling down statues that have valid permits of him and Jeffrey Epstein being BFFs. What are you talking about? He's a literal threat to our democracy. He's violating people's due process. What are you talking about? What? What are you saying? What?
Can't do it at a ballot box. If I believe that there was an actual government right now that was executing blacks, as the left has said about the police force, if I believed that there was a leftist government that was actually fascist, that would jail any and all political dissidents, if I believed that the left was committing a genocide against white conservative Christian men, and if I believed that that administration would never host a democratic election again, I'd be out in the streets with a gun.
I've never seen a Democrat ever tease a third term after they serve their 2 terms like Trump is. So I don't know. You guys get upset when people believe the words out of Donald Trump's mouth. I don't know. Why do you think Donald Trump's fascist? Oh, he's been teasing a third term and he violates people's due process. Oh, so you just believe the president? Okay, you're so fucking stupid. You're just like a dumb idiot person for even believing the president of the United States. Oh, okay. That's crazy. I guess I'm a fucking moron for believing our president.
You have a huge portion of Democrats who believe that about Donald Trump and his voters.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you.
This woman is nice, but she's too fucking like she's not going to be able to have this conversation with Kirk here. With Crowder here. Sorry, Kirk is just more successful at these conversations, so I keep thinking of him. Because she's oh yeah, I guess those are great points. Donald Trump has never done anything. He's never barred certain media organizations from being able to ask questions inside, press hearings. He's never done anything that would be a violation of people's freedom of speech and expression ever.
Saying that people believe that, absolutely.
That's very different between the right and the left, isn't it?
Not really.
I mean, I don't know, Stephen. It feels like it's so polarized right now. It's even hard to find common ground on anything. I was just thinking about the sign, and it's that the left is violent.
Yes.
Then when I sit down, it's actually the left is politically violent, and so it's kind of it's a modifier, right? We're modifying our conversation.
She's trying to debate, but she's not really very good at it. So okay.
A little bit, and so.
No, what I'm doing is matching the intensity and the rhetoric of the left. Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have said the right is violent.
What? I'm pretty sure. I don't know what you're referring to. Pretty sure. What? The right is violent. What did they? I guess I'll look into that. I've seen Biden talk about how MAGA is fucking crazy, but he said it much nicer. Also, statistically, they are. I guess if we're gonna look at it that way, maybe they were referring to January 6th. Let's see. According to this, neither Joe Biden nor Kamala Harris have stated that the entire right is violent. Instead, they have specifically addressed and condemned political violence, right-wing extremism. What is he? Let's see. White supremacy and extremism. During 2020 commencement speech, President Biden referred to white supremacy as the single most dangerous terrorist threat. Okay. Following January 6th, Biden has spoken about the dangers of political extremism. When did they say that conservatives are violent? Okay, so they specifically said MAGA Republicans or extreme conservatives are a threat to democracy. Yes, those things are true. Let's see. Biden, September 1st, called MAGA Republicans a threat to democracy, referring to January 6th and semi-fascism. He said that they thrive on chaos and promote extremism. These are all facts. Not all conservatives are MAGA. If you are, you're a cultist. Let's see. Responding to comedian's joke, he said the only garbage I see is MAGA Republicans. Gotcha. Harris at a Black Caucus gala post-Trump assassination attempt said she accused Trump of inciting violence, saying we must fight with fire. With fire. Okay, that's not anything to do with saying the right is violent. On CNN, she defended BLM protests as overwhelmingly peaceful, but supported the bail funds for protesters. Okay, so what are these things? None of these things say that the right is violent. He's just making this up.
The political right is violent.
Papa, FDR served 4 terms and he was a Democrat. That's great. What does that have to do with having now established term limits and then somebody teasing a 3rd term? That's nice that FDR was sort of... That has literally nothing to do with what I said. I understand that he had 4 terms. We also enacted term limits, and nobody since that point, except for Trump, has teased a 3rd term. So I don't think that that's really a relevant point, but, I guess thanks for the context.
And I'm doing what they are unwilling to do, which is sit down and have a conversation. I don't believe it's nuanced. I believe there's black and white, pretty clear-cut good and evil in this one. I believe there's pretty black and white, clear-cut who's
people who kill people are bad.
Responsible for the political violence, but I will discuss it with anybody. So did Charlie Kirk, and they kill us anyway.
Us?
So
I didn't even know he was dead. I'm talking about Crowder, because Crowder's implying that he's not alive.
Matching their rhetoric that I can fit on a sign, but I'm doing the work that the left is not willing to do, and having a conversation. But I don't know where we go from. If we have these conversations, and short of a brigade coming in, we get assassinated. The left doesn't fear that.
I would disagree, though. I think the left does have their own fears about it. Maybe it's not exactly the same, but I think there's a lot of fear out there. It's just not. It's just different.
The leftist speakers on this campus don't need the same kind of security.
You being a right-wing speaker has nothing to do with anything, but okay.
Don't.
I'll take note of that. I mean, I've been a student here for 2 years, and I hadn't even paid that much attention. I don't go to a whole lot of events, but I'll take note of that and see what I notice. So.
Well, let me ask you this. Assuming that I'm not lying to you, right, about these...
He's lying about everything he said.
Polls, and this is one thing, we always, every show...
He literally couldn't even reference the poll he brought up before correctly.
That I do. I'm largely a comedian, by the way. I'm an unwilling participant.
He's a comedian, guys. He's just a comedian, guys. Okay.
Yes, I want to be telling dick jokes in a comedy club.
No, he doesn't. He loves acting. He loves doing this. What are you talking about?
Stand-up comedy too, actually.
Oh, good. Okay. Do you do some around here?
He likes to pretend to be a comedian, and what he does is he actually just mocks people's deaths when he does that. Oh shit.
You might know my half-Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond. He does a lot of stand-up in Dallas right now. He has a show coming up.
Cool.
Well, let me know. Maybe I'll...
Thank God you're plugging this show during something that's supposed to be in honor of Charlie Kirk.
I'll be able to look it up, and I can't come out and see a show unless I come out with security, but I'd like to see your material.
Cool.
That's actually even another example. A man who works on my show, a man named Josh Firestein, he was a booker for a comedy, a franchise of comedy clubs. When I performed at the Spokane Comedy Club, it was the first time they ever needed metal detectors and security. He'd been a booker there for many, many years. You had actual registered communists do comedy there. He was shocked and he was ready to hate me. He works for me now because he saw why it was necessary. When you perform on stage, do you need metal detectors? Do you need armed security? I have since I was 19 years old doing comedy in clubs.
What? You have since you were 19 years old? I just don't even believe you. You've been lying this whole time. What?
And I don't think I've said anything that necessitates that.
Okay.
Oh, George was letting me know. I have class at 2.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No,
so how do we fix this then?
Oh, I mean, I think we need to have more civil discourse. I think.
Can't do that. We get shot.
Well, we can. We're doing it right now. Let's
with
not
a brigade.
Be so pessimistic. But Stephen, come on, we have to change our attitudes about it. We can't constantly.
I mean, it sounds like Crowder just thinks that there should be endless violence. I guess. What can we do about it? Well, we can't really do anything. We talk really nicely as we try to take away people's rights, and people get fucking pissed at that. This is ridiculous. Can't believe they would fucking do that. This is ridiculous.
Fixate on the negative stuff. I know it's important and it matters, but we can do it. And just as
I can do it with $250,000 of security. Most people don't have that.
Most people don't have that. And you talk about like
$250,000 of security. Okay.
Fearing for your life.
Yeah.
I am a female pastor in Deep East, Texas. So.
Oh shit, she's a fucking conservative. What the fuck?
On Sunday morning, I wait for that time when someone doesn't like what I said from the pulpit and comes up to me. So I too live with a fear but it's different for me. And,
do you have metal detectors and armed security?
We can't afford that at my church. We have an old person that sits at the front and says hi and tries to intervene in a way that would be appropriate of a Christian. We've thought about bringing security to the church. We talked about it.
We literally can't have these discussions on our side unless we have it.
We have security.
It's a necessity.
Yeah. And I think that's really unfortunate.
Well, there's nobody on the left really doing the same thing, so I guess we have nothing to compare it against.
That it's gotten so bad, the state of our country is so bad that we can't even talk
What you need to do is ask him, what do you think we should do?
to each other without one side or the other having to provide ridiculous amounts of safety and security that maybe aren't even guaranteed.
No, it's true.
Right?
And I agree with you. It is terrible that we've gotten to this point.
Yeah.
It is terrible that it's exclusively incumbent upon one side to have these types of measures in place. Let me ask you this. Because again, I think that
being religious doesn't automatically make them conservative. It generally makes them more conservative leaning. I don't think it's unreasonable for me to be like, oh, is she conservative? But okay.
We both abhor political violence. Do you think that maybe when one side is being hunted, let's make no mistake, Charlie Kirk was hunted.
Hunted, okay.
When people showed up to my house to try and kill me, I was being hunted. Right? Any conservative here is one viral tweet.
I mean, you guys don't care about that, though. I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole. Again, you guys mocked Melissa Hortman, or excuse me, you guys mocked Nancy Pelosi's husband getting hunted and broken into his house, pushed conspiracy theories about it, and now you're actively downplaying the political violence against left-wingers. I don't... What?
One effective video away from being hunted.
Yeah.
Do we think that when that happens, and we peacefully mourn the loss of one of our peaceful leaders, and we are
our peaceful leaders, what the fuck?
Still approached with violence at memorials and at vigils with desecration, do you think that maybe the both sidesing it, saying it comes from both sides, is actually more harmful than productive? Because it lets the side that's responsible for it off the hook, the clear aggressor.
The clear aggressor, guys.
Do I think it's more harmful to say that it's both sides?
Do you think it would be more helpful to call the left out and say, hey, you guys have been saying fascist, you guys have been saying Nazi, you guys have been saying genocide, sexist,
He was saying the genocide thing. The only time people talk about genocide is Gaza. Why does he keep bringing up Gaza weirdly?
And people believe it, and we're seeing political violence. You guys have been saying fascist, you guys have been saying Nazi, you guys have been saying genocide, sexist, and people believe it.
Genocide, sexist, okay. Your religious extremist ideology is to put women back in the kitchen. What are you talking about? What?
And we're seeing political violence now that we both hate. Do you think that calling them out aggressively, rhetorically, might be more productive than saying, well, I guess it happens on both sides right now?
No, I don't, because it kind of reminds me of therapy, where it's not necessarily helpful to point the finger in ways that are counterproductive. Not that I'm not opposed to holding people accountable, because that's a different thing.
No, I understand.
So,
maybe let me ask you then this way, where you say pointing fingers. What is the reason that we record crime statistics?
I don't know, for you to ignore them, I guess. I don't really have any other opinion on that, because that's what you are doing in this whole entire thing. You're ignoring that the violence overwhelmingly comes from the people on the right more.
I don't know.
The trans genocide has always been cried about? Cried about? Okay. I mean, they do put targets on trans people's heads. Not just... nobody's talking about fucking kids getting fucking help. Like, they literally cut cancer surgery, transgenic mice research just despite trans people. So there's a constant hyper obsession with trans people from conservatives because they have no active, meaningful policies. So,
would you agree with the fundamental premise that its primary purpose is risk assessment in determining who's most likely to be victimized? For example, and I hear this from the left, transgender or gay sex workers are more likely to be targets of violence.
Gay sex workers? What? What?
Gender or gay sex workers are more likely to be targets.
Transgender or gay sex workers? I don't even know what the fuck that means.
It's of violence than heterosexual sex workers, right?
I don't think I've ever really heard that, but that's probably true. Especially if there's a dude who fucks a trans person and they hate themselves for it, so they beat the shit out of them. Apparently, yeah, there are studies that show that trans sex workers experience higher rates of violence. Cool. Okay.
Right? Those studies have come out.
Sure.
And by the way, those seem to be true.
Okay.
So we go, okay, these people are more at risk. The reason for crime statistics is to assess where the risk exists. Otherwise, it serves no purpose.
True.
Okay.
Will we agree with that?
Fair.
Okay.
Sure. I'll trust your information on this.
Well, it's not information. It's just the reason. This is the why. Why else would we have crime statistics? Why would we record them? There's no reason. Just, okay, crime was committed. There's nothing we can do about it now.
I'll just have a history. I mean, is another potential reason, but sure.
What's the value in a history?
But history's so important, Stephen. Come on.
In what?
History matters. Oh my gosh.
But history is important in what?
In everything, right? History repeats itself, but I think
I want to see what the point he's getting at, because he obviously has like a narrative involved or in mind for this.
It holds to your point that
Yes.
history matters because you're saying we've seen these
You don't want to repeat
violence events.
I hate it when they.
Yeah, and we don't
You don't
want
want to repeat negative history.
Right,
So we agree.
right,
That's the
right,
reason
right.
for crime statistics.
Gotcha.
So if we look at those statistics and we look at the polls and we see an overwhelming number of those on the left at a ratio of 6 to 1 support violence compared to those on the right.
Okay, so that's just not real. There's no statistic that he was referencing that actually says that. He's just making this up. The YouGov doesn't show a 6 to 1. The only thing that I could say is if, like, where's this? I just don't understand where the 6 to 1 is coming from. There's no 6 to 1 anywhere in here. The only thing I could think of is if they polled more conservatives and they didn't get a lot of progressives. Where is he getting 6 to 1 from? I truly don't understand it. If they polled like 6 times more conservatives than progressives, then maybe that's the 6 to 1. But he's making up this statistic about 6 to. I really don't understand it. But he's just making it up.
And we see people being murdered in cold blood. If you are conservative, right-leaning in this country, and a public speaker, you are more at risk.
Whoa, it's crazy.
How is that pointing the finger? It's identifying the problem and not repeating history, no?
Yes. Well, with data.
Crowder's been lying, so he is pointing the finger.
Sure. And data speaks differently than I think sometimes people do.
Sure.
You know, and so I think how data is presented matters a lot.
I agree.
So yeah, I mean, that's kind of all I really have on that particular thought. Were you wanting?
Well, I think actually, going to that point, the data that's presented, for example, right now in the wake of the assassination, and by the way, not just that, we haven't gone more than 3 days with a serious liberal attack, but a serious leftist attack, meaning in the ideology of the left. You have it right here, ICE, that happened. ICE.
Oh, yeah, somebody shot an ICE officer. Or no, they shot a person being arrested by ICE. Yeah.
Facility. Yet another one in...
I mean, listen, I'm not trying to be a fucking asshole because it's not justified to do stuff like that. But when you have ICE being masked, which is insane and unheard of for any police officer to do, because you shouldn't be covering your face when they're doing that and violating people's due process, when they're calling people into hearings early that are adhering to the rules that they have to adhere to stay here. They're being told, like, if you show up to these court hearings, you can stay here as we process you and all that. And then they're getting rid of them. You're violating people's freedoms. You're violating people's rights. You're violating people's due process. You're doing it with masks on. Of course, people are going to get like, they're going to be like, holy fuck, like this is some kind of authoritarian force. And there's a level of truth to that. So people are going to get riled up. Like, but I mean, it's like, it's just fucking, that's what's going to happen. It shouldn't be happening. But when you guys act like authoritarian fucking police officers, that's what's going to happen. It's unfortunate. It shouldn't be happening. Nobody should be getting shot for this. But like, also, you guys shouldn't be overstepping the bounds of what you're supposed to be doing.
Is it Alvarado or Alvarado? I don't know the right way to pronounce it. People were shot there. There's a bomb threat. The ABC affiliate. Okay, all right. It's like Houston, and then in New York they go Houston. I'm like, I don't know the rules, so forgive me. And then I have French Canadian mom, so I mispronounce things because she taught me English.
Nice.
And then we look at the ABC affiliate, Jimmy Kimmel. We haven't gone more than 3 days. That's an acceleration right now. And the problem is, amidst that, the left is saying, actually, there's more political violence coming from...
What does Jimmy Kimmel have to do with anything? What is he talking about? What does Jimmy Kimmel have to do?
Jimmy Kimmel. We haven't gone more than English.
Nice.
And then we look at the ABC affiliate, Jimmy Kimmel. We haven't gone more.
What does what does Jimmy Kimmel have to do with this? I don't understand that. Jimmy Kimmel, because he made fun of Trump for not caring about Charlie Kirk? I don't understand that.
Than 3 days. That's an acceleration right now. And the problem is, amidst that, the left is saying, actually, there's more political violence coming from the right.
There is. That's just what the data says.
And that's the rhetoric we've been hearing, and it's dishonest.
But that's what the data says.
In other words, data is being presented to the public deliberately, dishonestly,
what's dishonest about it? I'm open to hearing it.
Victim blame. And that's
what's dishonest about it, though. You're saying it's dishonest. What makes it dishonest explicitly?
something that we face too, where if you back people into a corner who are avoiding conflict, who are not violent, there could end up being right-wing violence. And when that happens, it's very ugly.
Oh, so what I remember when I said before, Steven Crowder is a bully that dissuades his violence and dissuades his violence that he commits and justifies his violence by pointing the finger. That's what he's doing right here. Every act of right-wing political violence is justified, according to Steven Crowder, because you pushed us into a corner. But every act of right-wing political violence, even when it's committed by another right-winger, that is actually you just oppressing us because, like, we're just trying to be nice people. What do you like? This is I told you. That's all it is. He feels like he's justified. He feels like the right is justified in their violence.
It's very effective. It's very swift. And the only way we avoid that is for the left to take accountability of it and for them to tone down the temperature. And by
not Donald Trump, though. He shouldn't tone down the temperature. The literal president of the United States.
By that, I mean, right now, and this is where I show you, I think we both agree on this. So the two sources in the data, I don't care if you see my password, are the prosecution project, that's what's cited in The Economist and NPR, and Cato. These are the ones that where they say, hey, right-wing violence is more prevalent. I'm sure you've heard that. Let me show you what they don't include in the data, because like you said, people speak differently than data. Remember this in Portland?
When was this?
Summer of Love, George Floyd riots.
All right, well, August, you're going to have to censor that. Okay.
Aaron Danielson, shot point blank dead because he was a Trump voter. And the man, Reinhold, it was Michael Reinhold who shot him, told the cops, I got the Trump supporter, dead. We agree that's political violence?
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yes, of course.
Not a single one of these places cites it. It doesn't exist.
This happened in 2020. It was somebody like far right wing, and a far left wing person shot him. This is grok. I feel like this should be credible enough. This is literally Elon Musk's fucking thing. Right wing, yeah. Yes, the shooting of Aaron Danielson is included in major data sets tracking right-wing versus left-wing political violence and domestic terrorism. It is constantly classified as left-wing or far-left terrorist attack and fatality, reflecting the perpetrator's Antifa affiliation and ideological movement against far-right demonstrators. This classification contributes to the left-wing side of comparative statistics, which generally show right-wing extremism reasonable of the majority of such incidents and deaths since 1994. So why is he saying that it's not being tracked if it consistently gets tracked? Is he just lying? I mean, that's only the first time he lied here. I don't understand. It's tracked. He's just lying.
Hey, right-wing violence is more Floyd was a Trump voter, and the man Reinhold, it was Michael Reinhold who shot him, told the cops, I got the Trump supporter.
Yeah.
Dead.
Yes.
We agree that's political violence?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
Not a single one of these places cites it. It doesn't exist.
It's literally is cited consistently. What I just showed it to you. He's just lying. He's just saying things. Okay. Well, for anybody saying no, his point, it wasn't counted in the statistic. Again, we're on Grok, and I asked if it was used in the Cato Institute's analysis on political violence and murders, and it said yes. And is the Aaron Danielson shooting reference? Yes, indirectly included in the data set. The shooting of Aaron J. Danielson by Michael Reinhold on August 29, 2020 in Portland is incorporated into the Cato's left-wing violence statistic as one of the fatalities, attributed to the far left extremism. Okay, so just to be absolutely clear, Steven Crowder is a liar. He lied. He just brought up cherry-picked a statistic that is included into the data set. Okay? This is the Cato Institute statistic that I'm referring to that everybody's been passing around. So he's just making things up. And he was fact-checked by a conservative data set. That's like Grok is from Twitter. It is conservative. That's why I like to use it, because there's not going to be, you can't have an anti-conservative bias in a conservative-leaning AI model. So, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. You really think someone would do that? Just go on the internet and tell lies? You're so true. This guy's a fucking weasel.
In their database.
The ones here in your black folder, but not here in this.
No, in there. You have all the sources.
Oh, these ones doesn't.
It's the same thing. The black folder is just those.
Okay.
Yeah. The point is, they come from two.
Somebody said he was just referencing the prosecution project, so here we go.
Yeah.
Are the prosecution project? That's what's cited in The Economist and NPR and Cato.
Okay, so and Cato, gotcha. Cato, that's what we were looking at. So I'm going to assume that it's also in the prosecution project, and he's lying. So he specifically mentions both of these studies that I looked up the Cato one. So again, he is lying outwardly and actively. Just to be clear.
These are the ones that were.
So he's a scumbag. He's a weasel.
Michael Reinold, who shot him, told the cops,
a weasel.
I got the Trump supporter dead. We agree that's political violence?
Yes.
And it's included in the statistics that you're referencing.
Of course.
Not a single one of these places cites it.
Yes, they do. He's lying.
It doesn't exist.
It does exist.
In their database.
The ones here in your black folder, but not here in this.
No, in there. You have all the sources.
Oh, these ones doesn't.
It's the same thing. The black folder is just those.
Okay.
Yeah. The point is, they come from two places. TPP, the prosecution project, or a Cato study, which is reflected by the CSIS.
And they're in there.
As well. Where Cato tried to say there's 6 times the amount of domestic terrorism deaths, TPP said right-wing general violence. By the way, all of them agree that in the last year, since Donald Trump has been elected, even now they agree 2 to 3 times more leftist violence than right-wing violence.
Yeah, I mean, I would believe that. But, you're saying the whole data set is flawed. Would you believe that?
But that was never included.
Yes, it was. It literally was included. He's just lying here.
In other words, when they say there's more right-wing political violence, that's not included as left-wing political violence. You know what else isn't? All the riots, the billions in damages, the 37 dead during the George Floyd riots, the thousands of officers assaulted.
He died in a George Floyd riot, though. So it was included. Just look that up. Are the deaths from the George Floyd riots included? Yes, deaths associated with George Floyd riots are included in the Cato study, but only those classified as politically motivated homicides based on the ideological intent of the perpetrator. The study does not count all deaths from the riots, as many were non-ideological, e.g. related to looting, accidents, or personal disputes. Okay, so they did include them. They just didn't include all of them. Like Crowder said, if you're at a riot and you're looting, well, he didn't say this specifically, but he said that like not every instance of a death would be attributed to it. If you were at the riot and you were looting and someone shot you, that's not a politically motivated death. So again, he's lying, but okay.
The thousands of casualties, that's not included.
Everything politically motivated is included.
You know what else is included? Darrell Brooks in Waukesha, Wisconsin, who ran people over in the parade out of an exclusive defund the police, Black Lives Matter, anti-white, black supremacist.
Okay. Oh, okay. So here's what I'm reading. Darrell Brooks killed people. Okay, so no, the official motive for why Darrell Brooks killed people with his car has not been released. Excuse me. Yeah, no official motive it has been released. Though evidence points at anger and rage as the driving factor. Shortly before the attack, Brooks was fleeing a domestic disturbance with his ex-girlfriend. He also faced domestic abuse charges and a history of violent behavior. So where is he getting the idea that he was doing it to kill people politically motivated?
You know what else is included? Darrell Brooks in Waukesha, Wisconsin, who ran people over in the parade out of an exclusive defund the police, Black Lives Matter, anti-white, black supremacist ideology. That's why he killed them.
How do you know that's why he killed them? He was fleeing because he apparently hit his girlfriend. What is he talking about?
That's not included.
Oh, he made it up. I mean, maybe Darrell Brooks felt those things. Maybe Darrell Brooks followed things like that, but those specific killings didn't seem to be attributed to political violence because those weren't the reasons why he did it. He was just a fucking insane guy that just like hit his girlfriend. So I don't think it has anything to do with political violence. But I guess whatever we got to do to bend the rules.
I could go through example after example that where you would just as clearly agree that is political violence. I'm not trying to pick a gray one.
I mean, you did. You lied about Darrell Brooks, I guess.
It exists nowhere. So why do you think that wouldn't be included in the data?
Because it wasn't politically motivated?
As left-wing political violence, because that's the
Because it wasn't?
number cited by the left right now to justify it.
I think we have so much data that it's hard.
Dude, she's never going to be able to have this conversation productively because he's lying and she can't call him on it. That's really what it boils down to.
Hard to even, especially in today's. Well, I don't know. That's weird because you're saying in the police recorded call they said
he spoke to the police before they shot him.
So it's on a 911 call. That
So this is on
the Trumper.
Yeah, he was talking to the police. So
This is police cam video.
This is security camera video, and then I believe there's also police camera video and sworn testimony from the police. But he identified as 100% Antifa.
Are we talking about Darrell Brooks?
So police before they shot him.
So it's weird because you're saying in the police
Is that what we're talking about? I think he's talking about the one that was included in the Cato study that he lied about.
This is security camera video, and then I believe there's also police camera video and sworn testimony from the police. But he identified as 100% Antifa.
Yeah.
Okay, I think he's talking about the guy that was included in the study that Crowder is just lying about. I think that's who we're referring to.
You can look at his social media. He went out there. There are even, I believe, interviews with this man before this was committed where he was talking about enacting political violence.
Yeah.
Did it, clear as day. Are you a Trump supporter? Yes, we've got a Trump supporter. Bang, bang, dead.
Yeah, that was added to the data set. He's just lying about it.
All the studies from left-wing sources don't include that.
Yes, they do. They all include that. He's just lying.
Is that bothersome?
It's bothersome that you're lying, yeah.
I do think it is bothersome because
he's just making things up. This is so fucking crazy. He's such a piece of dog shit, dude. Holy fuck.
we need to have the facts of the situations, any situation, regardless of where it comes from. And, you talked about something you said earlier just reminded me of like the media is not portraying things accurately. And
right.
That's adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
It's adding so much fuel to the fire.
She's just believing him. It's fucking kind of pathetic.
That we agree. And can I ask you, and this is, by the way, there's no wrong answer. This is just an opinion. Why do you think that wasn't included?
Because it was included and you're lying.
Why do you think the examples that I gave you, none of them were included?
They were.
But any example of white on black violence, even if it was a Democrat voter, was listed as right wing.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Any attack on a government building, even if it was Antifa, was listed as right wing.
What are you talking about? He's just saying things.
Why do you think?
He's just he's lied more than the amount of minutes that that we've gotten through so far.
Something that clear
was not included.
Because he's lying to you.
Would it surprise you if the authoritative source that's being cited, the prosecution project, the author of it, was actually arrested himself on January 20th protesting Donald Trump?
Wow, what a bad guy. Hey, you remember the guys that were arrested on January 6th, pushing a conspiracy theory that the election was stolen based on zero information? And they got pardoned. I forgot. Okay, yeah.
Committing crimes, and that entire day was also omitted?
Damn, was that whole day omitted? Crazy. So the author of what one?
Committing crimes, and that
I'm assuming he gives us the name.
He arrested himself on January 20th protesting Donald Trump. Committing crimes, and that entire day was also omitted?
Probably not.
A member of Antifa who said we are an
Antifa? Who is he talking about?
Organized group, and we confront fascists.
Why won't he give the name of the person he's referencing? This is first of all, this apparently was in 2017. 2 months ago, Michael Lordenthal and his 3 children, all under 6 years old, were on their way to play mini golf when he was pulled over for speeding for the first time. Although he said that the police officer was initially courteous, he returned to the driver's side window with an aggressive demeanor and hands on his firearm. The officer's very intimidating, very aggressive behavior caused his children to flip out and start crying. I assume it's a product of him running my name. Okay, what does this have to do with being arrested on why did a professor study the government's crackdown? Okay, much of his work used. What the fuck? So first and foremost, the Cato study that he's referencing, one of the studies he's referencing, it specifically talks about murder. So obviously this January 20th riots wouldn't be part of that statistic. Yeah, okay, now this is making sense. The Cato one wasn't right. It wasn't referencing the Cato one because that was focusing on murders. This is focusing on criminal cases involving political violence. The case where that guy got arrested wasn't a criminal case. The January 20th riots were not considered criminal cases. Actually, strike that. They were apparently considered criminal cases. These protests organized by involved anti-fascist, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Gotcha. So it is included in this study. Just to be clear. I was wrong. It was considered criminal, and it was included in the study. So he's just lying again. Okay. Cool. I guess that was unexpected. So they are referencing this in there. It is being referenced. Okay. Great. Happy we looked that up. So yeah, this J20th is it's included as non-lethal events. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Crowder.
Committing crimes, and that entire day was also omitted?
It wasn't omitted at all. It's in there.
Probably not.
Member of Antifa, who said we are an organized group.
Just to be, this is why you really just can't, like, having a discussion or a conversation with Steven Crowder is a waste of fucking time, because he lies like a disgusting freak the entire time you talk to him. He really has not been factual at any moment in here. And you could know that by looking into this. All the statistics he's bringing up, and he's like, oh, this wasn't included. Yes, it was. They were all included. Every time. Every time.
And we confront fascists. That's the source that gets disseminated across.
Okay.
Seems like there might be a bias there.
Yeah, you're lying.
And these sources are being used to victim blame those on the right now.
Yeah.
Where do you think those on the right go? Where we go, hold on a second, we're actually sitting down and having conversations, and we've been attacked and in some cases killed.
He's justifying violence right now. He's like, oh, see, it is justified for us to do X, Y, Z.
And then you came to the memorials and the vigils, and you celebrated it. A majority of people on the left, not all, not yourself, but too many celebrated it.
I don't celebrate death
in
that way.
But many did, and we both know that we saw it.
I know you're right,
and then you came and blamed us and said we need to tone it down, and told us that we're more violent with clearly dishonest stats.
Yeah.
That's why I say that both sidesing it doesn't help, because you're backing people into a corner, not you, the left, with lies. At a certain point.
Yeah, but they're not lies, right? They're actually the truth. Like he's fucking dumb as hell.
They're going to push back, and I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah. So what do you think the answer is then?
I'll tell you what I think the answer is. Twofold. One, the leadership of the left and the majority of the left. I think that the majority of people who identify as liberal, the reason you get those numbers 62 to 65, depending on the day, whether it's Rutgers or whether it's YouGov, I think they support political violence to varying degrees, because they actually believe that those on the right are fascist, are Nazis, are genocidists, are racist, are homophobic, are sexist, because every single member of the Democratic leadership has said so. Barack Obama, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, Walz, Bernie, Elizabeth Warren, every single one has made that comparison. I think it's incumbent upon the left to take accountability, say, look, we have gone too far here. This
he's the fucking Hassan of the right.
Needs to be toned down. Of course, Donald Trump and his voters are not fascists who won't relinquish power, because he can't deal with fascists at a ballot box. And then I think we also need to.
When Donald Trump lost to a senile old man, you guys pretended it was fake and then attacked the Capitol. So I don't really. You try to make it seem like right wingers are just these nice fucking guys. What the hell?
States need to take this.
He's just ranting. He's ranting for a clip is what he's doing right now. He's ranting for a clip. He's just looking for like a really fun, clippable moment that he's able to put up on social media, because he knows most of his followers won't watch this.
Upon them, need to change their soft on crime policy, the no cash bail, the IOU policy.
What's wrong with what?
You can simply say, I'll be back in court. Before Charlie Kirk, right? The story in the news was Zarutska, the Ukrainian refugee who was stabbed on that subway in North Carolina by a black man, Carlos Brown Jr. He was let out 14 times. And the last time he was let out by a left judge in the name of social justice.
Well, what about the other 14 times? If you're specifically saying he's a left judge the 15th time. I mean, there needs to be obviously be some kind of criminal justice reform. I'm not going to lie, but what does that have to do with anything that we're talking about here? Or I think he's just trying to dogpile and make everything on the left seem bad, I think.
He was deemed unfit to stand trial, but they let him go back out into society because he said he'd be back. said he killed an innocent woman. You know why?
Terrible.
Because, hey, justice is racist. I guess I don't know when it becomes racist, if it's at arrest number 11 or 14 or 6.
Okay.
But that needs to change. Those two things, accountability, change in rhetoric, ownership from the left, which will change the makeup of today's left, make us safer, and needs to change soft on crime policy.
So true.
And I also advocate that conservatives take an approach of ruthless, lawful self-defense, because we've afforded grace where it is not warranted.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is people who attack me and my family and many of my product.
I agree with this. Like Ashley Babbitt, who went to jump through a window after it was broken in and told not to, or she'd be shot, and then she was justifiably shot. I think that these are the types of people. I mean, I agree with this. Harsh on crime, baby.
Members who've been attacked, violently assaulted, have taken the high road for a very long time, and that's why these people feel so bold to come to our memorials and still commit attacks.
It's crazy.
They need to know they can't do that. I want the left to be able to get up and have these conversations with no security, as they often do. And I don't want anyone on the right to go and violently.
As they often do. When do they, like, nobody on the left does anything like even comparable to this, though.
Disrupt it. The left needs to be afraid.
I'm not saying that it's like justified to happen. I'm just saying like there's no comparison to be said. Like we don't know if it would happen, you know, if there was a comparative event, but there is no comparative event. So
they come into our groups and commit acts of violence because we watched entire cities burn down. We watched our own die.
Whoa.
And then we watched it celebrated. And unless the left does this and takes this approach, it's going to get worse. There's no off-ramp. That's a genuine concern of mine. People are concerned about radicalizing, right? They talk about radicalization with echo chambers online. And there's nothing more radicalizing than an assassination and a party afterwards.
So true.
Yes, no, I agree with you.
That's why I'm sitting down doing this.
That's crazy. I think he's actually doing it because he wants to try to capture the audience that is now available because Kirk was assassinated. I don't think that he cares at all about Charlie Kirk being killed. Why would he? He's just lying the entire time. He obviously just wants to continue to incite it, like anger, because he's lying about like everything he said.
Let people know that we're not afraid to have these conversations. Now, of course, you know, we have bulletproof glass and a flak jacket, and it's sad that it's here.
Right.
But it's necessary. That's what I think.
Okay.
Would you disagree with any of those approaches? Changing the rhetoric, taking accountability, and stopping the soft on crime revolving door criminality policy?
This is hard, Stephen, because I just feel like we don't have enough time to even really dive deep into each one.
Well, those
of
are two proposals.
Issues. I know. But
like honestly, people like her are like, I understand she's well-meaning, but people like her that come in and try to like have a reasonable discussion with somebody like Steven Crowder are like a huge problem. You know, in all honesty, if Destiny wasn't such a fucking degenerate piece of dog shit, and if he could actually get back on track and have some fucking credibility, that's the type of person that needs to talk to Steven Crowder, right? So Destiny, do us a favor, move back closer to your kid. Okay, I'm not kidding. Try to be there for him as a father. That will be your first step towards redeeming yourself for a lot of people. You know, there's a collection of issues that you have as a person. And I think that if you made a meaningful effort to be near your kid, you're a millionaire, you can do it and try to do the best. That's hard, man. You had a kid at 20 and it didn't go, you know, I get it, tough. But, you know, you see him expressing himself the same way as you do with edgy bullshit rhetoric. It's just the opposite of your politics because he loves you so much and he's so disappointed that you're not in his life that he's acting out. And I think that, you know, you could still, as a guy who grew up without a father, if my father came into my life at 15, I probably would have given him the chance. And I think that trying to be the best dad that you can is going to change the minds of a lot of people. All the specifics of like, what about this? What about this? You know, seeing Destiny take care of his kid. I'm not trying to say this to be like a fucking dickhead or anything. I'm not even kidding. Because like you have freaks like Steven Crowder lying the entire time. And it'd be nice to have somebody effective to be able to counter that. But people want to see somebody with some moral values. And I'll be honest with you, abusing your wife like Steven Crowder has done before, because that's the type of person he is. People are going to see that as not as bad as not being there for your kid. Yeah, so please, Destiny, you're our only hope. Please.
I just need more time to process and really consider and to understand what you mean exactly with each thing, because I don't want to.
No cashless bail.
No cash.
I mean, I'm not necessarily against cashless bail. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so you have to post bail. Okay, you have to post bail. You commit a violent crime, you have to post bail. You're in jail. You're not allowed out.
Okay, so no cashless bail, meaning you're not.
I feel like the cashless bail is not the problem if he was let out 15 times. You know, maybe a 3-strike deal or something like that. I don't know. I don't think that cashless bail is necessary to eliminate here.
Allowed to.
You're not allowed to get out without paying any bail.
Without paying any bail, and like.
Do you think that was more important, or do you think the fact that this guy got out 15 times? Which one do you think is the real issue here?
Strike policy as well.
Cashless bail exists because there are rich people or people with a lot of money that could do shitty things and just be able to still walk free. That's the reason why they say, like, yeah, let's have it so that poor people aren't disproportionately fucked over. It's the same thing where, you know, if you get a $100 ticket for parking in a certain spot, a rich person doesn't care, they can afford it. You know, so that rule basically doesn't exist for them.
Well,
3-strike policy.
3 serious felonies, violent crimes.
Wait, hold on, bail though.
Yeah.
So you're saying if you can't make bail, you can't get out.
Yep. You have to wait for your trial.
No matter what the level of the crime is.
No, if it's a serious felony.
Only if it's a serious felony.
Was that guy arrested on serious felonies, or was he arrested on misdemeanors and then committed a serious felony?
Let's even start with violent crimes.
Like
felonies, violent crimes?
rape, something like that.
Assault, armed robbery.
Sure.
Okay.
Burglary. Battery.
I think I could probably get behind that.
Okay.
I could probably get behind that.
Not a
I think that it would be better to have general criminal justice reform. It's probably a good idea. You know, CJR, guys, so that people actually get something out of it when they. Incredible. We're playing the Steven Crowder conversation in the game right now. Isn't that incredible?
Single leader in the Democratic Party is why.
Yeah.
So we could get behind that. No IOU policy for these criminals. You're deemed meant. Let's use DeCarlos Brown Jr. as a very clear example. We could use George Floyd as an example too. He was arrested 6 or 9 times.
Actually, I'm
6, 7.
Okay, that's fine.
I have to go to class.
Okay, well, please peruse those sources. Your name is Christina. Let me get your last
Yeah, please peruse those sources so you realize that he's a fucking fraud that just lied to you the entire time.
name. So if I want to go see your material,
Yeah. Well, I perform under a stage name, and I wouldn't say it anyways.
could you
Whoa, why?
write it down for me if I don't show it to anybody?
I will write it down for you, but you won't be able to find me. I'm not like a big I
Okay.
just started a year or so ago.
Well, I was going to follow up. Maybe if I see it, send you some notes of encouragement because I could have used that when I was starting.
Okay.
If you write it down, I promise you no one will see it.
Okay.
Right.
But I don't know how you're going to send me anything.
Well, just no vibes, I think is the term that's used now.
No
I'll be watching.
vibes.
Know that I'll be out there going like, hey, go get him.
Well,
But
this is my stage name.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
Okay.
Thank
I actually saw it. Her stage name is A Lot of Vagina. Isn't that incredible?
you, Christina.
yes. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Good luck with
Good
this.
luck.
You too. God bless.
Good luck
and
lying.
then, you know, I just want to say, if it's really inappropriate,
Good luck lying, Steven.
if anyone from the left or the moderate is right, we shouldn't be celebrating death. We need to be working together.
Good luck lying, Steven.
And being united in these things. Together we stand, divided we fall.
I agree with
In the words
most of
Pink
that.
Floyd. Okay.
Thank you very much, Christina.
Yeah,
Be
thank
well.
That's so beautiful.
God bless.
God bless. All right. Thanks for lying, Steven. That's so beautiful. Hey, you know, I'm really abusive to my own wife. Can you give me your secret name so I can come find you? Woo, scary. Yeah, I don't think we have to watch the rest of it. It's going to be the same talking points over and over and over again where he just lies to people like he did in that conversation.